Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's video we have our second part of bold predictions. We recently did a video talking about the Western Conference. Today we're looking at the Eastern Conference. We're going through all 16 teams and I'm giving you one bold prediction I have for each and every one of them. We'll get to all of this regarding these teams coming up right now. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here at the End-to-End Hockey channel. Now before we get into this video, don't forget to like this video and subscribe down below. Thank you for all of your support. I would never be able to do this without all of you guys, so if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. Don't forget to leave a comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And don't forget to stay tuned for videos coming out in the very near future. So in today's video, we're back with bold predictions. So last video, we did the Western Conference bold predictions. If you haven't already, check it out. I got some very interesting ones involving teams like the Avalanche, the Oilers, the Golden Knights, and the Wild. So definitely check out that video. But today we're looking at the Eastern Conference. So I'm basically going alphabetically. First the Atlantic Division, then the Metro Division, alphabetically. Basically going through each and every team and giving each team a bold prediction I have for each and every one of these teams going for the upcoming season. So we're going to start off in the Atlantic with the Boston Bruins. So my bold prediction for the Boston Bruins for the upcoming season is that they will be a bottom 5 team in the NHL. Now I guess technically they were last year too, but I think this team is poised to take another bad step back. I wouldn't be surprised if they were in the low 70s to finish out the season. I think they might have a very good shot to get Gavin McKenna in this upcoming draft. The Sens and Sabres fans don't want to see that, but I definitely think that this Boston Bruins team is going to be taking a major step backwards. I don't think they're going to be anywhere close to the playoff spot, and that's my bold prediction for the Boston Bruins. For the first time in forever, the Boston Bruins will not only miss the playoffs in back-to-back seasons, but will be a bottom 5 team. I wouldn't even be surprised if they were a bottom 3 team. So very interesting note there. The second bold prediction I have is with the Buffalo Sabres, and that is the Buffalo Sabres end the 14-year drought. This will be the year the Buffalo Sabres make the playoffs. Yes, I'm saying it. I know I've had some very interesting back and forth about maybe saying this is the bold prediction for the Sabres because there's other things I could do like Thompson or like Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen or Dahlin. Like there's a couple of other interesting bold predictions you could make, but I do think Buffalo this year will finally end the playoff drought and be able to sneak into a wildcard spot and make a playoff run. So very interesting note there. But my bold prediction for the Sabres is they make the playoffs and then their 14-year drought. My bold prediction for the Detroit Red Wings is that at some point during the season, maybe closer to trade deadline or maybe closer to the start of the season, but some point during the season, the Detroit Red Wings will trade for a top 4 defenseman. Now, I'm not sure who this is going to be. Is it Erik Karlsson? Is it Rasmus Andersson? Could they pull off some sort of a miracle and try to trade for Quinn Hughes? I'm not exactly sure who it is, but at the end of the trade deadline, the Detroit Red Wings will have a top 4 upgrade that will be able to help this team, maybe not even just for this upcoming season, but going forward. So my bold prediction for the Red Wings is that they will acquire a top 4 defenseman at some point in season. My bold prediction for the Florida Panthers is that the Florida Panthers will be first rounded this year. The Florida Panthers, who have gone to back-to-back Cup finals and are back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, looking for the three-peat this year, I think are going to be first rounded. This team is so battered and bruised for over the past couple of years. Kachuk's not going to be there until December. Barkov's questionable for even the start of the playoffs at this point in time. So there's a very likely chance this team's going to be very banged up this year. Now I still think they're going to be a team who at least squeaks into a wildcard position, if not makes a top 3 spot in the Atlantic again. So I'm not going to say they're going to do entirely terrible, but I just think getting to the playoffs this year will be such a tall task for the Florida Panthers that they will be first rounded and will not be able to have a shot to three-peat. So that's my bold prediction for the Panthers. They will be first rounded. My bold prediction for the Montreal Canadiens is that they win the Atlantic Division. Yes, I have Montreal taking that much of a step forward. I know that they barely made the playoffs last year, but I think they're a better team at this point in time, at least for the regular season, than Ottawa, than Toronto, especially with Florida losing all those guys to injuries, than Tampa. Like, I think Montreal is a little bit of an under-the-radar team who could surprise this upcoming season, and I think the Montreal Canadiens are, at least in my eyes, the favorite to win the Atlantic Division. So my bold prediction for the Montreal Canadiens Canes is that they win the Atlantic. Bold prediction for the Ottawa Senators is regarding a player, and that is that Tim Stutzle will be a 100-point player this upcoming season. Stutzle has been a really solid player throughout his entire career. I think last year he hit the 70-point plateau, but I think with Ottawa improving a little bit on the forward group, having a little bit more line mates, maybe being a little more healthier, I think Stutzle is going to surpass a lot of people's expectations this upcoming season and hit the triple-digit point mark. So that's my bold prediction for the Senators. Stutzle is a 100-point player. My bold prediction for the Tampa Bay Lightning is that Andrei Vasilevskiy has a below 905 save percentage. Now, Vasilevskiy, we know, is one of the best goaltenders in the entire NHL. For the longest time, he was the best goaltender in the NHL. Now he's probably top 3, top 5, but he's still a really solid goaltender. But I think he's going to take a little bit of a step back this year. He's missed a whole bunch of time in training camp due to, I don't know what it is, if it's injuries or if it's just personal reasons, but I just feel like, especially behind the Tampa Bay Lightning defense, Vasilevskiy's going to be poised to take a major step back, save percentage-wise. I just can't see him having as good of a season as he's had over the past couple of seasons. So my bold prediction for the Bolts is that Vasilevskiy's save percentage is below 905. And my bold prediction for the Toronto Maple Leafs is that they will reach the Stanley Cup Final for the first time since 1967. Yes, it has been an extraordinarily long period of time since the Toronto Maple Leafs have been to a Cup Final. But I think they'll be able to exercise a ton of their demons this year. They don't have Marner. They have a new group. I think the changeup will do Toronto wonders. I think they'll have another decent season in the regular season and not only make the playoffs, but be a stellar team in the postseason and be able to take down a couple of interesting squads to reach the Stanley Cup Final. So that's my bold prediction for the Toronto Maple Leafs, is that they will reach the Stanley Cup Final for the first time since 1967. It's been a while for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I expect their fans to be a lot happier after this upcoming season. Next, going over to the Metro side, we've got the Carolina Hurricanes. My bold prediction for Carolina is that Seth Jarvis will have 45 plus goals this upcoming season. I think Seth Jarvis is poised for a massive step in the forward direction. I think there could be a couple of other bold predictions you could go for Carolina. They could maybe make the Cup Final. They could have some stellar goaltending. They could have one of the top defenses in the entire NHL, but I'm going to say Jarvis at the 45 plus goal mark. Jarvis is an extremely talented young kid. He's an extremely talented player. I think he's had some pretty solid seasons over the past couple of years, but I think he's ready to take that next step and be a 45 plus goal scorer in the Carolina Hurricanes organization. So that's my bold prediction for the Canes. My bold prediction for the Blue Jackets is that they will make the playoffs for the first time since I think 2019. It has been an extremely long period of time since the Blue Jackets have been a playoff team, but they have a young and exciting core. This team almost made playoffs last year. They're in an extremely weak division in the Metro Division, and I think if they could maybe add 1 to 2 more pieces around the trade deadline, this team is going to be surprising a whole bunch of people, and I do have the Jackets being a playoff team. I'm not sure how far they'll go in the playoffs, but I think my bold prediction for the Blue Jackets at this current point in time is that they will be able to make the playoffs. My bold prediction for the New Jersey Devils is that after all of the movement they've had this offseason, they will have a top 5 defense in the regular season. I think with another season of Markstrom and Allen as the goalie tandem, that'll be extremely lethal for the Devils. They have one of the deepest defensive cores in the entire NHL. I think this team is poised to be one of the best teams shutting down other teams' offenses, and I think sort of like maybe like a Winnipeg or Los Angeles from last year, I think Jersey is poised to take a massive step in the right direction and be one of the best defensive teams in the entire NHL. So that's my bold prediction for the Devils. They are a top 5 team in the goals against department. My bold prediction for the New York Islanders is that they will move at least 2 to 3 veterans by the NHL's trade deadline. So I'm not sure who these guys are going to be. I could see it be Cal Palmieri. I could see it be Bo Horvat. I could see it be Anders Lee or John Gabriel Pajot, who are entering the final year of their deals. I could see it be Pelech. I could see it be Pulak. I'm not exactly sure who exactly will be moved, but I think 2 to 3 veterans of this New York Islanders team will be dealt by the 2026 trade deadline. I think the Islanders are poised to be a selling team. I think they're poised to move a couple of pieces, especially if they're able to get really solid returns, and I definitely think that's the sort of where we're going for the New York Islanders. So very interesting note there, but that's my predictions about the New York Islanders. They will be a team who sells and moves at least 2 to 3 veterans. My bold prediction for the New York Rangers is one that's definitely out there, but I'm going to say come the trade deadline, the New York Rangers will move Artemi Panarin. I think that they'll retain 50% of his contract. They'll get him down to like a $5.6, $5.7 million AAV player, and there are going to be a ton of teams who are playoff bound who would love to add an Artemi Panarin at that sort of a cap hit. So I don't know exactly what the return will be. It will probably be a pretty good return, but I think my bold prediction for the New York Rangers is that by the 2026 trade deadline, they will have moved Artemi Panarin. So very interesting note there. My bold prediction for the Philadelphia Flyers is that at some point during the season, they will use draft capital and potentially even prospects to add some immediate help. Now, I'm not exactly sure who they're going to add, and I'm not exactly sure what sort of a trade they're going to make, but I definitely think if they could add a top 6 forward or a top 4 defenseman, I think they will do that. I think they're going to be a little bit closer to the playoffs than some people think, so I definitely think if they have the option to maybe get a younger type guy who can help in the top 6 on the forward group, or a top 4 on the defensive core, I think that team will definitely try and do so. So we'll have to wait and see on that, but my bold prediction for the Flyers is that they will wind up adding a top 6 forward or top 4 defenseman by the NHL's trade deadline. My bold prediction for the Pittsburgh Penguins is that they are going to be a bottom 3 team in the entire NHL and dead last in the Eastern Conference. Yes, I think the Penguins are poised to take a drastic step down. I think they're poised to move a whole bunch of players, including Rickard Rakell, including Brian Rust, potentially Erik Karlsson, probably some of the lower end guys like a Noel Acciari or a Blake Lizotte or players like that. I think they're poised to move a whole bunch of players between now and this year's trade deadline. I think they're going to tank a whole bunch. I wouldn't be surprised if they were a favorite to land Gavin McKenna, but I just think this Pittsburgh Penguins team is poised to take a massive step down. So very interesting note there. My bold prediction for the Penguins is that they are going to be a bottom 3 team in the entire NHL and dead last in the Eastern Conference. And my bold prediction for the Washington Capitals is that Alex Ovechkin, while it's going to be his final season, will hit 35 plus goals. Yes, I know, Ovechkin, the best goal scorer in the entire history of the NHL, is going to hit 35 goals. I don't think that's too much of a bold prediction, but Ovechkin is 40 years old, so to see him hit 30 plus goals as a 40-year-old is quite insane. So that's my bold prediction for the Capitals. I do think this is very likely Ovechkin's final season, so in what will be his send-off season, Ovechkin will hit 40 plus goals, and that's my bold prediction for the Washington Capitals. So those are all my bold predictions for the Eastern Conference. Just to recap, with the Boston Bruins, they will be a bottom 5 team and miss the playoffs in back-to-back seasons. The Buffalo Sabres will finally make the playoffs, ending their 14-year playoff drought. The Red Wings will add a top 4 defenseman in the trade deadline. The Florida Panthers will be first rounded. The Montreal Canadiens will win the Atlantic Division. Tim Stutzle will be a 100-point player for the Ottawa Senators. Andrei Vasilevskiy will be a below 905 save percentage, and the Toronto Maple Leafs will make the Stanley Cup final for the first time since 1967. While the Carolina Hurricanes, Seth Jarvis hits 45 plus goals. The Jackets make the playoffs for the first time since 2019. The Devils are a top 5 goals against team. The New York Islanders will move 2 to 3 players at this year's trade deadline. The New York Rangers will move Artemi Panarin at this year's trade deadline. The Philadelphia Flyers will acquire a top 6 forward or a top 4 defenseman at this year's trade deadline. The Pittsburgh Penguins will be a bottom 3 team in the NHL and a bottom team in the Eastern Conference. And the Washington Capitals, Ovechkin, in his send-off season, will hit 35 plus goals. Those are my bold predictions for the Eastern Conference. Definitely, I forget your thoughts. Do you agree with any of my Eastern Conference bold predictions? Do you disagree with them? And if you had to predict a bold prediction for each of these Eastern Conference teams, who would you pick? I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. That's all I'm going to talk for today. I'm going to like this video, and if you're like to subscribe below. Thank you for all of your support. I would never be able to do this without all of you guys, so if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe button down below. Don't forget to leave a comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Don't forget to stay tuned for videos coming out in the very near future. I also have a blog, talking about news, rumors, analysis, stuff like that, so check that out. I'll link to that in the description below. Can't wait to see you guys all for the next video. See you guys soon.